In all corporate restructurings, there are casualties of new regimes. Triple H taking over creative has been beneficial to some of the former NXT talents like Ciampa and Killer Cross. We know some of the big names that Triple H is a fan of, but who do you think will suffer the most now that Triple H is in charge of WWE Creative? And who are the biggest free agents that you think Triple H is looking at currently? So inevitably, there are always going to be people who benefit with regime change. The boss has new favorites, and there's always going to be people who kind of fall by the wayside. The boss will have his favorites, and the boss will have the people that he didn't understand why you were in the position you were in. And so when I look at this, and I look at the WWE roster, there's really three names that stick out, and there's a fourth one that I'm on the fence about. But the three names that stick out to me, number one is Liv Morgan. I think the clock started on Liv Morgan, and I talked about her in an earlier segment, but I think the clock started. Vince McMahon kind of always liked a good underdog story, even if it didn't make any fucking sense. And I think Triple H is more, his creative is more based in what the fans want and how the fans react to things. And I think based on this last week's reaction to Liv Morgan, unless she figures out how to right the wrongs, or unless WWE gives her the tools to make something of this situation she's been put in, I think she's on the clock. I think the mixed reaction she's getting is not the reaction that WWE wants from the SmackDown champion. I think that it's easy to see Triple H going, I like Shayna. Let's put the belt on Shayna. Shayna and Ronda right themselves. Let's push forward with a Shayna and Ronda. And Shayna there's potential for Shayna Baszler to end up being a monster heel. And to me, the women's division has been missing a monster heel, somebody who feels unbeatable. Ronda feels that way a little bit, but she's less homegrown and more MMA. I think Shayna could feel like the homegrown monster heel. The second person that I think is probably in a little bit of a danger under Triple H is Omos. The Giant thing is played out, and I've heard a couple people say this. The Giant thing is played out. Giants don't do well anymore because we don't necessarily buy into this guy's big, he doesn't move well, but one punch and you're down. It seems like 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", that's the perfect size in wrestling now. We don't need 7-footers who can't move around. And we saw this when Omos was paired up with Bobby Lashley. Bobby had to step his game down wrestling-wise in order to make Omos look like he fit in. So where does Omos fit into any kind of long-term booking in WWE? He's not going to beat Brock Lesnar. He's not going to beat Roman Reigns. He's not beating Drew McIntyre. He's not beating Sheamus. And he's not beating Bobby Lashley on a regular basis. So where do you put him? Because he can't be in the ring with all these little guys. They move too fast. So what is his long-term position? I think he's in trouble. Lastly, I think we already saw the beginning of this, but I think Ezekiel's in trouble. I think the gimmick doesn't work long-term. Like I said, the gimmick doesn't work unless Kevin Owens is by your side, and Kevin Owens is bigger than that story. There's more for Kevin Owens to do. So as long as Ezekiel is here, we're always going to question where's Elias. I think hopefully we bring back Elias because that gimmick seemed way more over than Ezekiel ever got on his own. So I think Ezekiel's definitely probably in trouble. Now, the last one, the one I said I'm on the fence about, and I may be wrong about this, and I don't think it's based on the whole this is Vince McMahon's guy, but I do think Theory's path has been altered. I think he was on the fast track to becoming a world champion, and I think Triple H is going to pump the brakes, as he should. Like I said with Liv Morgan, let these people develop. Don't shove him down our throat and make him the guy. Let Theory develop. And I think Triple H has a different plan for the world title picture. We see that with like Killer Cross and some of these new names coming in. I think some of those guys are going to slide in and there's going to be more competition and less shoving guys down our throat. So I still think Theory has a very bright future. I just think that future may be played out over a longer period of time and more organic than it was kind of being shoved down our throat. As far as who is Triple H targeting in free agency, I'm not the guy to ask that question to. I don't have my thumb on the pulse of everybody that's available. When I saw this question, I immediately went to the internet and searched who are the free agents of pro wrestling. I didn't even think that list would exist, but on the website SEScoops.com, I was able to find a list of basically who the available free agents are. And half of the names are names I've never heard of, so I'm not even going to be good there. But I did see, like, when I looked, I think Braun Strowman is somebody after you all told me that Braun Strowman wasn't available because of Control Your Narrative. Then Killer Cross shows up, and I think that immediately wipes out that sentiment. I see all the rumors. I think Bray Wyatt is somebody he's targeting. I think Johnny Gargano is pretty comfortable. I can be comfortable in saying he's targeting him. I think that Paige is back on the table now that Triple H is in charge. I could see him bringing Paige in. I don't know if they need Paige, but it almost feels like they could bring Paige in just to keep her away from AEW. Because I still believe Paige is a dangerous tool in the hands of Tony Khan. She does get a lot of attention. Then there was one more name that I just thought was fun, and this was interesting to me. And he's not a free agent yet, but it's Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega's tended to kind of stay away from the WWE machine because he's always stated, I don't want to be that WWE robot. But now that Vince McMahon's gone and Triple H seemingly has kind of eased off of what used to be, here's a script, you go out and fucking read it, to here's generally what we're trying to portray. You go make this into your own thing. I think Kenny Omega could see. His contract apparently is up in 2023 unless he signed a longer deal that I don't know about. But I could see him coming in and going, I need this to solidify my career. And I know people all the time go, I don't need this, but he does need this. You need this. He needs a WrestleMania moment. I feel like he needs a WWE title, a world championship. He needs one. He needs one run with it. And I could see him coming back for one good run where he wins the title, where he's able to kind of have his WrestleMania moment. And I think it would be fun. And I'm playing Fantasy Booker. This may not even be a possibility, but I think that would be a fun name for Triple H to target. And I don't think it's too far-fetched. Because let's say Cody Rhodes, he kind of made a splash when he came to WWE. So you see that and you go, okay, I can do this. If MJF hasn't already, let's pretend that MJF has not signed a new AEW contract. I think he has, but let's pretend he didn't. And let's pretend that in January, Triple H is able to sign him and he becomes part of WWE and he blows the fuck up and he has this amazing fucking run. And then Kenny Omega goes, hold on. All these guys, they're jumping over to WWE and there's this opening and there's this spot and there's this want for new talent and new people. I think that if the chips fell the correct way, that Kenny Omega could go, I've got one run in me. in WWE.
Step in the ring, if you ready, let's go. Hey, casual wrestling community show. You already know, talking WWE. Keep it rolling and hosted by Notorious Nerdy D. Don't be show that you gon' find. Tune in cause it's online. Hit 'em with a figure 4 leg lock, pile driver or clothesline. We bringing that heat like for show, but you should